Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. So today's look is using one of my favorite techniques and my favorite color combination to do this. So please enjoy, keep on watching, and I'll show you how to do this purple halo look. Okay, first, my skin is already prepped and primed, and I primed it with Smashbox Primer Water. And I decided to use Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation in this video because I adore this foundation. It looks very skin-like. It's very dewy. It's probably a medium to light coverage, but it is buildable. So I go ahead and start with a beauty blender and I start just pouncing that all over my face, and then you'll see that I go ahead and put a little bit more on for a second layer. That's how you really want to build up the coverage so it doesn't get cakey and so it doesn't wipe off the previous layer. So you want to just keep building and building, and not, instead of putting way too much on at once, it's better to do one layer and then go over the top again. Next, I'm going to go ahead and conceal, and I'm using Naked Skin Concealer in light, or what is this, in fair. This is several shades lighter than my skin tone, but I do this on purpose to add dimension back into my face, especially when I'm doing a bold, dramatic look. And it brings lightness back into underneath the eyes, a little bit on the forehead, the nose, and the chin. The key when you're using a lighter concealer color is to really make sure it's blended into the foundation. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and set everywhere I laid some concealer down, and I'm going to set it with loose translucent powder. I just used the MAC translucent powder. And then I'm going to let that sit while I do my eyes. So I'm going to prep my eyes and prime my eyes using MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. It's a shade that's pretty close to skin color, and that's why I like it. And I find that my shadow lasts so long if I use that. I'm going to go ahead and set that with a little bit of translucent powder, so that way everything I put on top stays on and glides on easily. So what I'm actually going to do is take a white liner from MAC, and it's in the shade Fascinating, and it's just a white liner. And the reason I'm doing this is because when you put a white liner underneath shadow, you can get a lot of color pop and better longevity and staying power. So after laying down that liner, I'm going to go ahead and use Blanc Type all over the lid and on top of the liner. And then I'm going to go ahead right into the color. So I'm using a MAC pigment with a fluffy small brush in the shade Rich Purple. And I'm going to start in the outer corner of my eye, and I'm not going to go above the crease because that's really essential. So you want to start in the outer corner, and then I went ahead and faded it in towards the middle, and then I brought it into the inner corner, and then I faded again towards the middle, and I connected the two in the crease. Because you want to leave that spot in the middle open because we are putting a lighter color in there. That's the whole idea of this halo effect, is that you have this darker inner and outer corner, and then in the middle there's this lightness that kind of pulls it all together. So working with the pigments, there can be a lot of fallout sometimes. So you want to just kind of build up the coverage, shake that brush out a lot before you touch it to your eye, and that's also part of why I have all that translucent powder, in case I do get fallout, that it will catch on there and we can brush it away. And as you can see, I'm just kind of blending out that top line above the crease to make sure everything is seamless and looks nice and we don't have any harsh lines. Okay, I'm going to take a 224 or 242 flat brush, packing brush from MAC, spritz it with some Fix Plus, and dip it into a light pearlescent purple color called Kitschy-Moss, and it's a pigment as well. And then I'm just going to pack that onto that center portion, and then go ahead back in with the darker color and blend that out and blend it into the lighter color and blend the lighter color into the darker color. And then I'm going to just take a little bit of a neutral medium brown and just kind of blend out the crease. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put on my brows off camera, but I just wanted to get it out of the way or else it'd be even longer. Okay, so I'm going to wipe away all that translucent powder and then set my skin with the MAC Mineral Skin Finish in medium golden. And I've really been liking how I've been contouring my nose. I like using a small, skinny fan brush to do this because it helps it kind of get one straight line instead of having to create a straight line with a smaller brush and really having to concentrate. This is a way to do it a little bit easier and to control how much product you're putting on. And I'm just kind of blending that out until I like how it looks. And in the center, I like to go back in with a highlighting shade. So I used one from the Kat Von D palette, the banana shade, and just in the center to tie that back in together. And now that I wiped away all that powder, I can finish up the underneath of my eye using a flat square brush and that rich purple pigment underneath my eye, getting it really close to my waterline and then blending it out with a soft brush. So I'm going to use a really big fluffy brush and MAC's blush in Blush All Day, which is in good neutral, a little bit pink, a little bit peach, nothing too bright or too contrasting. And I wanted to use this kind of blush because this look is about the eyes. Alright, so I'm actually using a liquid highlight, Maybelline's Master Strobing Liquid in 100, which is a iridescent pink shade. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to apply this. I think it might actually be with your fingers because it dries down really quickly, but I'll get back to you on that one. And then I'm going to use the Laura Mercier highlight in the shade Devotion, which is also iridescent pink. And I'm using that with a big fan brush on the tops of my cheeks, my nose, and my Cupid's bow. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish up the eyes now. And I'm using MAC Liquid Last Eyeliner in black. And I'm not doing a wing. I'm just kind of doing just basic eyeliner by the eyelashes just to add extra depth into this look. And then I'm going to make sure I'm very happy with how it's blended out, so that's why I went back in with that fluffy brush I used in the beginning after it's already been cleaned off a little bit, and just putting color back where I think it needs to be. And then I'm going to go ahead curl my lashes with my MAC curler and apply a couple coats of mascara. Here I'm just using a simple one I got at the drugstore from L'Oreal, and I'm just going over it a couple times. And then I'm also using the YSL, I think it's the Haute Couture sample that I have too. And then for lips, I'm not doing anything too wild. Again, this look is more about the eyes, but I wanted to do a kind of pink, springtimey color just to tie everything in together. A little bit more pink than neutral, but yeah. So I'm going over the top of that with a little bit of a gloss just to make everything pop. So this is my take on a purple halo, and I hope you really enjoyed it. You could do this with any kind of color combination. I just find purple is my favorite so far. So thank you for watching. Bye.